So in this video, what I want to tell you is that why would you want to own property if you can control it? Now, not everybody can afford to buy a house. Why? Because you've got to have a big deposit, 20% typically, 25%. So even if you want to buy a house for £100,000, and when you're down south, that's not very much, you still need to find 25,000 quid. And on top of that, you've got to lay the legal fees, you've got to pay the searches, and then you're physically leaving in some cash plus the refurb cost. So you might be in it for like £35,000. Now the average their savings across the country typically is like £5,500. So there's a bit of challenge there, because it means a lot of people think you can't get into property. This was life-changing for me just 3 years ago. So take you back 3 years. Even though I've been investing and buying property for now 12 years, back then I made a big change in my life. I didn't have income, I didn't have cash flow from property. I was buying houses and trading them. So I didn't have much cash flow, and I'd walked out of a job. And so 2-3 years ago, I made the decision I was going to understand, fully commit to something called rent to rent. So I rent a building. I rent a building and I give guaranteed rent to the owner. And in exchange, I'm allowed to make more profit by renting the rooms out individually. So direct rent guaranteed to the owner, and then I rent the rooms out, meaning there's more income coming in that building than what I'm paying out, and it means I've got some profit. So what's amazing is you can typically make £750 to £1,000, sometimes £1,500 per calendar month per property. So think about that for a moment. Some people just need 2 properties to have life transformational decision making because of this cash flow. So I did over £100,000 in profit in that business from that one strategy alone. So just think for a moment again, that cash flow comes in every month for 3 to 6 years. It means you can forecast ahead. You can start making decisions about now and in 6 months' time. It gives you confidence to start speaking to investors, saying, look at the properties that we control, look at the quality of the finish, look at the amazing service we provide to the owners and the tenants. And it means that people can help maybe lend you more money so you can start buying assets. It's life transformational. Now, some people out there will say, you know what, this isn't property investing, this isn't how you get results. But if you just think about it, why would somebody not be interested in helping a landlord, creating great quality accommodation for the tenants, and make profit for you? Why? I just think it's a no-brainer. So why own if you can control? So I do both, as long as it's about the cash flow and it's morally and ethically sound. So what kind of properties work, you might be asking? So you can not only just do rent to rent multi-let, you can do rent to rent and rent rooms out on a short-term basis, like 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. So maybe you've heard of like Airbnb. So maybe you've even stayed and stuff like that and use booking.com. So people will stay in places for short amounts of time because that's the way life's changing. People prefer that. Don't know about you, whether you can relate to this, but I'm not keen on staying in a hotel room for a few nights where you feel like you're trapped in this little box room. Much better to be in your own space, like it feels like at home. Well, that's how the world's changing because of the internet, because of Airbnb. So jump on that, rent to service accommodation. So you've got a choice now, haven't you? Either do one or the other, or do both. So rent to multi-lets. Typically we find 3 bedrooms or more. So there's 4 bedrooms you can create, 5, 6, or control the houses that are already multi-lets. Now you've got to make sure that the mortgage is right, or that there's no mortgage on it, and that there's permission to do it. So there's layers of information you need. So there's knowledge, that's key. So the people who don't make it work typically are the people who either get the wrong data, they try and do it without any data, so they wing it because they don't think or don't value education. Now my name is Tom Heaney, I'm a national and award-winning teacher and the director of Tom Heaney Property Education, and we're helping people get a professional education with the right tools so you get better results. You might want to check out a great video we've got on YouTube where I interview one of our academy members called Dan Green. He's smashing it in terms of rent to rent right now. Really proud of him, and he's following our systems, the guidance, but ultimately he's also owning it, taking responsibility and providing great service to landlords and tenants. So it's a win-win. So let's just think again, what do you need? You need to find great houses in the right area at the right price point, but it's just a system. I can teach you it. You've got to follow the mechanics and take consistent action. It's the same with service accommodation. You might do 1 or 2 bed flats or 3 bed houses. So either work or both. the decision is yours. You also need some time, a minimum of 5 hours per week. It's minimum. The more time you can put in, the more consistent action you can put in, the better results. So we did 12 properties like that in 1 year, but we've also now using that credibility to scale and grow a multi-million-pound property portfolio on top of what I already had. And this stuff just is a great stepping stone if you love the idea of getting a property, but maybe you haven't got much money. Because if you think about it, because you're controlling the property, there's no massive deposits, there's a bit of a refurb cost, sometimes we'll have to spend £500. But if you really had to lay your hand on £500 because you knew you're going to make £750 per calendar month for 3 to 6 years, I'm sure the motivation would go up to get the results. That's key. Attitude, commitment, consistency, the willingness to actually push and get the results is what makes somebody a success and somebody a failure. Now, the decision is yours. Are you committed? Do you want to work really through a process which I can teach you to work hard for a short amount of time to get long-term results? Now, the decision is yours. Do check out Property Investors with Tom Heaney, where there's a community just like you who want to help each other. But then the final few tips with rent to rent. Number 1, check that the demand in the area is right. You might want to go on something like spareroom.co.uk to see what the interaction of people are. Step 2, follow the mechanics of a system of finding properties, negotiating, then closing the deal, making sure it's stacked, make sure you refurb it the right place, and then outsource the management to give you your time back. So we have over 130 units right now, and I spend 35 minutes in that particular business. Now I've got 3 businesses. I have a development company, a management company, and I have this education company which you're watching right now. The education company is what I'm passionate about because I'm a national award-winning teacher. I love helping people like yourself, but rent to rent changed my life 3 years ago because it gave me choice. It gave time. It gave the confidence to realize there's another way to do property. You've got the neg heads who say it can't be done. You've got the neg heads who manage their own properties and say property investing and property ownership and property control is hard because they do it their way and not the way we show our academy members. So if you're interested to learn more, visit tomheaney.com, join our community, comment below, ask any questions, and it'd be great to see you on another video, or even better, visit the Property Wealth and Cashflow course. 2 days of life transformational content, and guess what? It's free. So why aren't you on that course? Why haven't you been? And if you haven't chosen to do that or join one of our boot camps, why not? Because the more you learn, the more you earn. See ya.